It is awesome.
Kind of
You
wish
should
it
go
was
check
around
out.
when I started.
Yeah, so
This
do
was
I.
my first MOBA, so.
All right, we're ready for game 4, and it's going to take place on Cursed Hollow, chosen by SpaceStation. There has actually been 0 Cursed Hollow games for Tempo Storm.
And the one time that we saw SpaceStation was the Lost Vikings Illidan composition. So if Tempo has some unique drafts, SpaceStation has a few tricks up their sleeve as well that they might be able to bust out here. So this could be a really spicy draft.
Could be a rocker. The Zeratul has to be considered.
If there's Vikings, Zeratul definitely has to be considered.
Oh, yeah. I'm pumped. Can SpaceStation bring it back on Cursed Hollow? I don't think that this has been a ban. No, it hasn't been a map ban for Tempo. They just haven't really been playing on it. We haven't seen very much of Cursed Hollow, except for a couple of different teams have shown that they like it in North America. Gale Force was one of those teams, but kind of tapering off there, given results.
Yeah, I mean, right now, going into game 4, it's like the second half of the series. And sometimes you find yourself down maybe 28-3 and you got to come back. I mean, these things do happen to be down 2-1 in a series, and you can come back and try and clinch it. So SpaceStation, they took map control, and they're really going to try to do this here in game 4.
28-3, that sounds like a tough Towers of Doom game.
Yeah.
Kind of like the last one. Maybe not so much like the last one, but some of the ones we've seen here, pretty one-sided.
What?
The silence tells you everything you need to know. I hope someone has been keeping track, just tallying. There
What?
it goes again.
They're in a tough series, down 2-1.
Yeah.
This is like the second half.
Mm-hmm.
To come back.
It's an inning. No?
My favorite is the camera guys are laughing too.
It's the second heat? Is that a... That's a football term, right? Tempo Storm Van Greymane from SpaceStation.
What? What sport ever says the second heat?
Isn't there some sport that has heats? Is that tennis or something?
Track.
You know what kind of sport I like? Esports.
I do too. That's why I'm here. I just happen to like other sports too.
P Sports. Psh. Genji Band. Standard. Do we have Hanzo? ETC?
In the first heat of this draft, we get Tyrael. Again, SpaceStation could ease. I mean, the thing is, when you think of warriors, you normally think of warriors that can counter what Illidan does. Attack speed slow, have hard CC. Even the attack speed slow is good, but generally that hard CC to lock him down, stun him, prevent him from attacking. Tyrael does not really do that. You can kind of get some movement speed slow and stuff, but in terms of what Tyrael brings is not there. So if you want to get to the later end of this draft, maybe post-second ban, or even at the second ban Arthas, Murden, things like that, maybe a Brightwing that could potentially show up. I say that because she appeared right behind you and it just kind of showed up right there.
As it should be.
Yeah. So we saw the Illidan before. Tyrael's not a great Illidan counter outside of bringing out the Sanctification.
That is true. Hanzo, given the Greymane ban, having it up. Tempo Storm were willing to give it to SpaceStation. And Dahaka, probably now not going to have it. I'm sorry, buddy.
Probably not.
But maybe.
The Hanzo does bring you Ultimate Boss Race.
Yes.
And that is something that should definitely be feared on Cursed Hollow.
Now what for Tempo Storm? Generally leaving support until later, unless they want Uther, unless they feel like they need the Uther, and it's not like there's a strong Uther deny right now. Do they get Malthael this high? Do they feel like they need Malthael here?
I don't think they need... I mean, the Tyrael's such a great start. Greymane was banned out, so they did not anticipate potentially having Tyrael plus the option of Greymane, obviously. So they have to have something behind that. And they do go Malthael, they get an Abathur. That opens up the door for a potential Illidan on the side of Tempo, by the way.
Yep.
Just throwing that out there, because Glaurung, let's see, so Fan is the Abathur player. Glaurung could potentially be the, you know what, everybody plays Malthael at this point. We're just going to wait for June to come in.
I was waiting for you to give up on that because I wasn't even going to try.
Fan Abathur, that's a guarantee.
Kay.
That is a 100% guarantee. Dahaka does well against the Abathur style compositions, but I mean, there is so much that you can play off of. Malfurion is an excellent Hanzo counter, win rate wise, one of the highest. Him and Uther are kind of up there. Maybe we'll see the Uther come in on the side of SpaceStation. Keep that potential Tyrael Uther style away from whatever is coming out from Tempo Storm, and then take away what's been one of the strongest supports for June and Malfurion.
I wonder if Tempo Storm is going to ban ETC. Trying to kind of prey on Equinox's warriors. I guess the new Barak might be the ban again here then. No, Falstad. All right. Yeah, it seems like Tempo Storm is heading more and more towards a more teamfighting kind of style, and they don't want to allow SpaceStation to get too far ahead in the globals. They have the Dahaka to counter the Abathur, but get much more than that, and if Tempo Storm are running around looking for fights, then SpaceStation can use those globals and push the other lanes.
For SpaceStation, you know, they've got the Hanzo locked in. We've seen a lot of mage-style play from Jay Shriti, and then, of course, the potential Abathur that he played last game. However, that's on the other side. So picking up that hero and whatever Casanova plays, again, I think this draft could start to get real wild real quick. The Dahaka obviously is going to be more towards the Jason style. I think we're still in for a few surprises here on one side or the other.
Greymane Falstad gone. Either Casanova goes on the Hanzo, as you said, or he's played Tychus Zeratul Genji.
There's the evidence. Yeah.
So before that was Equinox, which puts Casanova back on tank.
Unless they go tempo style and just run Dahaka as the quote-unquote main tank.
Oh, man.
But they take away Illidan from that of tempo. I think that we could consider a potential Zeratul here.
For tempo?
Yeah. Just try and target the Hanzo Lucio backline while Illidan's off doing stuff on the forward front. Dahaka's probably coming in for the flank through one of the mini bushes.
If Fan plays Abathur, you put Psalm on that Malthael.
You know what? All of sales just go Kerrigan.
I kind of wondered if they're just still going to just try to get Arthas here.
Triple melee with an Abathur?
Yeah. I don't know.
Is that enough damage? Hey!
Tracer mouth. All right.
Illidan has a terrible time staying on a Tracer. Despite his evasion obviously blocking some auto attacks, Illidan just cannot close the gap against the Tracer. Lucio has to have that sound barrier pretty much available. Dahaka obviously can brush stalker, burrow under. Hanzo and Lucio, prime targets, and Illidan, it's going to be hard to get much done on that. So Tracer, I like it.
Yeah, Pulse Bomb can make you burn the sound barrier too. And if that's the case, then Malthael just jumps in afterward with the Tormented Souls. Sanctification 2, Tempo Storm rounds out really well with that. Malfurion kind of becomes the target for Illidan if he wants to dive into the back. And that's very scary, as he has Twilight Dream, he'll have Ice Block post 13. So that's not going to be the easiest of target for him too. And meanwhile, you can see Tyrael, Tracer, Malthael doing the exact same thing to the Hanzo in the back line.
Do we have a Brightwing player on SpaceStation? This might be the time to go double support. They go double support, but it's with Kharazim.
This is
so I said Brightwing. Kharazim's good because you get the palm.
And you can chase her down after Tracer uses recall.
So you get that. Brightwing, I think, makes it a little bit easier if you wanted to set up, because Pixie Dust gives you spell armor, which helps neutralize some of the bomb damage. But the Polymorph in particular allows you to get on top of Tracer a little bit better. Kharazim, however, is just like, well, I've got Q, I'll just Radiant Dash over here. So it does give you some counterplay. The double support, I thought maybe Brightwing, give you another global, give you control, give you some setup potential. Kharazim's not a bad option.
Yeah, both Brightwing and Kharazim are seen as supports that can help deal with Tracer. It's just how you want to deal with it, whether it's going to be more for the polymorph and the spell damage to help with the pre-10 and still the burst damage that Pulse Bomb has, just not the quantum spike damage with the percent base damage. But even still, Kharazim provides the opportunities to chase down a Tracer after her recall is forced. Palm, as long as Palm and Sound Barrier are on point, if they're going to go into a Palm, that's the deal. SpaceStation needs to use that synergy and make sure that they're not overlapping, because they have to not only deal with the Pulse Bomb, they have to deal with the Tormented Souls, and an enabling Tormented Souls at that with a Sanctification. So it's really important if they're going to use those two. It could be 7-sided strike though. If Kharazim feels like he's the target for a lot of this dive or a lot of this focus from Tempo Storm, could use 7-sided strike and the invulnerability that you get during that time.
I want to dive deeper down to what you were just talking about with Sanctification. You know, obviously you have the global into Haka. Another global in Hunt is good, but once Ice Block potentially comes in from Alfurion, you know, your targets are Tracer, which has a recall, Tyrael, and Malthael. They're not necessarily prime Hunt targets. Hunt gives you more than just an engagement, but Sanctification gives you a bullseye in terms of where multiple people are going to be. Would that open the door for a potential metamorphosis here? It's generally way down the line for a far second, but I wonder, given the potential sustain, that might be it.
Yeah, haven't seen very much of it yet in North America. Actually, we've just had that one Illidan game, and it was a Hunt. And if you want to have
Roots
double,
and Twilight Dream, though,
yeah,
now that I think about it.
If you want to have double global, then I would still see the Hunt. I think we'll still see it here from Equinox, but this is the map where if you see Metamorphosis in China, at least at the end of last year, it would have been on this map too, from all the team fights, the chokes you can get from that. But yeah, Roots and Twilight Dream. Twilight Dream's the thing that Equinox is going to be watching as he dives.
Speaking of dives, Tyrael and Illidan up at the top, there's a Tracer coming by. And this is a good invade, because I was just about to bring up the point of, I wonder what camps will look like for these teams. We see on the mini-map, Malthael is back, but up at the top, Shrite and team are here. So Illidan's taking a long route. And I really wondered, would we see a potential invade? I'm sending our observer all over the place here, but the camps, to me, are high priority. And you can see the Abathur Mine will reveal Equinox. But Shrite getting vision to at least neutralize control.
Yeah, important that while you can solo take camps as Equinox in the Immolation, seeing that, so I'm still going to go in from this. Flowering and Caterpillar are here too. Equinox is taking a bunch of damage. Som does too. Drops the Pulse Bomb, but Tracer goes down, making it a 1-for-1. Now SpaceStation starting to come back in. They might have been able to hold on long enough. They boot back Cattle and Glaurung.
I think they bit off more than they can chew. Things look good to start that. Cattle is so low, but they got to be careful.
Yeah,
that is Tyrael.
The bomb from Tyrael.
Yeah.
Jason, he's dead.
That was
crazy.
Yeah, how many times do you get fights like that 2 minutes into the game?
Over the giant camp. But Tempo are willing to take it. They want that early aggression using the Tracer for the picks. Now, SpaceStation are happy to give it to them, though, with Illidan being back. Tomster giving him that movement speed.
But Tracer's back, too.
Tom's back. Soms comes in, looking for the kill. Equinox. Remember, he has evasion to try to deal with the fast auto attacks of Tracer.
I mean, one of the fun parts about that, fans going into the symbiote build, getting the heal whenever he uses the Carapace. And also, he's going extra shield amount with the sustained Carapace. So, different style here.
Yeah, it makes me wonder what we'll see at level 7 with that. Maybe still a mule.
If not, maybe just stab. Equinox is not going to make it out of here.
Little parting gift, seal the deal. Jay Shrifta starting the channel on the first tribute. The Treant.
Oh, that was
not
literally a pixel away.
Not doing what it was intended to do there.
Literally, the roots were just like, I was like, that should get, no, that's okay.
A little bit of a frustrating play there for Tempo Storm, but not the end of the world. The next tribute will be on their side of the map. They're going to continue with these camp invades.
Who can blame them? They picked up their night camp early. Abathur can continue soak in multiple lanes if needed, although we saw the hat there on to Psalm. And this just gives Tempo Storm the control that they need. They are giving up a bit in terms of control on the rest of the map, but just due to the fact that that camp middle kept Illidan there is going to keep multiple minions alive.
And SpaceStation's composition is just so good at taking mercenary camps that Tempo Storm hinders them quite a lot with this game plan, just by taking away something that SpaceStation should, in theory, be in charge of, between having the immolation with your Illidan and having the serrated arrows of Hanzo. The serrated arrows will come in handy when we start seeing teams focus for the bosses, but in this instance, having this constant invasions is pulling a lot of SpaceStation away from being in the lanes, and it's also making them play defense instead of offense. Yeah,
and you know, as the boss, they actually are going to spawn here in 10 seconds. And the next tribute, top left, I don't know if we'll see the boss play. The position of Tyrael has been pretty much top-notch to make sure and keep vision in terms of all over the battleground, and whenever they see the rest of SpaceStation, they just kind of come out and look to be aggressive. I mean, this is a really good style here for Tempo.
Pulse Bomb hits, chunks through Casanova. Dahak is going to head to the bottom to deal with the Giants as the tribute is starting to spawn. Nobody has made any moves toward a possible early boss here, but maybe if Tempo Storm were able to pick this up, get a kill off of this tribute fight, then we'll see them back off to that.
Tempo Storm is so aggressive. I mean, they just walk right in and take it. I mean, after their comp or not, they are just dominating these camps. They have the composition to do it. And it's just forced SpaceStation to just kind of react and respond. I mean, they've gotten a few kills, but in terms of control, Tempo controlling the pace.
2-3 or 2-1 for the tributes. And SpaceStation has not been able to siege really anywhere. They have just been cleanup crew this entire game. They're still caught up in experience. It's just that the pacing, the momentum, the feel of who dominates this game is all Tempo Storm.
Now the even experience, the next tribute top mid will be Curse if it is obtained by Tempo Storm. Som going on by, no big deal.
10 almost here. Do you anticipate any big heroic adjustments? We talked about Hunt versus Metamorphosis. Hunt?
He snap locked that in.
Snap lock, and it's there. The Dragon Arrow, too, from Casanova. Glaurung just barely staying alive for the moment, but with an isolation. SpaceStation Gaming takes the kill on Tempo Storm right as this tribute was about to spawn. He'll be back up, but he still has to run back in.
He does. Isolation was used at the back end of that just to make sure that Tormented Souls couldn't come out. They now have their eyes on Cattle, but he's making good use of his abilities.
7-sided strike over the Tormented Souls. I think June was maybe contemplating a Tranquility. We've seen that before from him, but he'll stick with the Twilight Dream.
Now, the 7-sided strike is probably the most surprising to me, just given that they're going against Tracer. Equinox on the backside. That's Fan on the clone, a Tracer player himself, so very adept at getting full value out of that clone.
What the 7-sided strike tells me...
Oh!
Oh, wow! There it is. The 7-sided strike goes down. Root, as soon as he came out of that with the Pulse Bomb 2, Sound Barrier is just not enough as Kharazim falls. Nice from Tempo. Aggressive continues.
7-sided strike gives you a target of this is exactly where they're going to land. June squatted on it, put the roots down. Twilight Dream. And then Fan making that play.
You are not safe here.
Thompson just needs to let him go. This exploded quickly.
Yeah, getting that curse immediately was going to shut off that structure. There's no way to defend there. Now there's a staggered death. There's no Hanzo. Tempo Storm gets another kill and gets their presence set up to take multiple forts here.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I was going to say is you're totally right. The only thing is if they were worried, if they hadn't really practiced the Palm, and especially since Palm is difficult to hit, and this is Shrita playing Kharazim, this might not be a super practice style. It might be kind of an evolved, we're in game 4 of this series, so maybe 7-sided strike is better, but unfortunately for Shrita, did not work out in the case of that last fight.
That did not work out at all. We've got to hunt and see if we get the Dragon Arrows a bit far away. Sanctification is down and Tormented Souls are out, and we're still 5 seconds away from the curse expiring. Equinox is going to go down That was super ambitious to try and take that fight.
Yeah, Jason was just like, yeah, we'll just, good luck, Equinox. I'm out of here. He took off. Not a lot of ways of being able to stop that stock out, but even with that, there was no help or additional aid for Equinox. Tempo Storm has been able to start the staggered death train that has been crippling SpaceStation in this mid-game. Now Tempo Storm gets the first boss at the back of that curse, and it'll head straight down to finish off that bottom fort.
I mean, that's just, this has snowball potential written all over it right now for Tempo Storm. That boss, there's another boss in play. The fact that we have the serrated arrows from Hanzo, they haven't been able to get value out of it on the camps because Tempo keeps taking them all. We haven't seen any try and sneaky plays towards the boss. So it might come into play later in the game, but so far, the value has been minimal.
Yeah, like we talked about, just great recognition, taking away one of the tools that SpaceStation had in their composition. Second boss, as they move on up to get that. SpaceStation likely to know that this is a thing, but wanting to get 13, wanting to deal with that bottom boss. Going to push in as they defend it and do some damage to the mid lane. Catch up in experience, get their 13 talents.
The defense, I mean, it's unlikely they'll lose a keep at this point. If you're SpaceStation, the next tribute should spawn by the time that boss makes its way forward. So SpaceStation, they're down a level and a half. It doesn't look great, but as long as they hold a keep here, they're only going to give up one tribute when 3 is needed. So they'll have multiple opportunities to find their way back in the game. They'll have 14 soon. They can continue to soak. They have the double global. It makes it easier. But Tempo Storm, with potentially 16, might try and get aggressive to see if they can take this down, but I just don't think it's possible.
Yeah, they got bruisers, and they showed really fast on the vision as they took it. Cattle has holy ground this time. No law and order. So we can do what he can to zone away some of SpaceStation from this defense. There's a lot of melee to try to defend versus this. There's just not a whole lot of range damage, and that holy ground comes in handy in that. They're gonna take this keep.
Wow.
A treant and a giant just busting it down. Boss plus treant equals keep. There's a mercenary camp in every lane. Tempo Storm has 16. They're working their way toward a tribute. Jason needs to leave that area.
I'm surprised they pulled that off, and Cattle getting here with Tyrael. I just thought with the Hanzo in play in the early rotation, that would have been an easier defense, but Cattle on Tyrael just making good use out of just Eldruins, and then Holy Ground, not too bad.
Yeah, it took, I think that's Herodic Reforging too. Yeah, Herodic Reforging even, so there is just no getting onto Tempo Storm now, other than possible dive over. And they have ways of dealing with that too. And they have ways of dealing with an Illidan.
That's unfortunate. And now we have pulse bombs there. That's going to take it down. Things are spiraling out of control. They're going to look to take keep number 2 here. And with 1 keep down, that's bad. With 2 keeps down, it's going to be rough. You do still have double global. You just have to make sure not to die here. But with the death timers being low and the siege giants here, I don't think they're going to look for much more, but Tempo Storm, complete control.
Yeah, the keeps that are gone are in both boss lanes. 1 minute 45 seconds until the first boss will be up. That's in the bottom. Tempo Storm have a 3-level lead over SpaceStation Gaming. They have lots of different ways to tie a ribbon on this series and send it home. It's just a matter of setting themselves up, and they have no need to get overly aggressive now. They have every advantage in this game for against SpaceStation.
All right. If they're going to try and pull something off, they're going to have to do it soon. 16 right around the corner for SpaceStation. They can give up this tribute, but as you said, that boss in the bottom left might be the place where they have to force a fight. Force Tempo to see if they'll come and defend. But if your Tempo, with your bottom fort still standing, you don't have to. You can give that up. Make a play towards 20. Make a play towards the top right boss once you have 20. Keep things in your favor. But if you're SpaceStation, you're going to have to try and force something, and that boss is going to be one of the few places that you'll have to do that.
Yeah, these Giants are going to push that lane out as long as Tempo Storm can keep SpaceStation up toward the top. There is the Dahaka there.
40 seconds on that boss. The tribute, though, might trigger that, and the fact that the tribute is top left makes that boss play that much more difficult to pull off. Yeah, timing here not on SpaceStation's side. They're going to have to take a fight around this tribute if they want to get back in this game, Gilly.
Tempo Storm seems willing to give it to them, although we're seeing Tracer hover around the bottom lane.
Yeah, the only way you lose is by losing a team fight if you're Tempo.
Yes.
You can give this up without worrying about Curse and get 20, and then play to your strength.
This is great by Som, keeping Dahaka off of those Giants a little bit longer. Tribute spawns now.
Fan using the clone.
Hero clone.
Hang out a little bit.
He's stalling it out. He's got the Eldru in there. He goes back in again. Another stall. Tempo Storm been able to stall safely here. Som's got the Giants at the core with catapults.
This is
Jason
where the action's at. I mean, using that tongue is nice and all, but now you don't have to pull one of those Giants in.
Well done, Cattle walks in, had the Eldru in behind. Seven-sided strike does a number to Glaurung. Sound barrier though, and Sanctification lets Glaurung get back in the fight. Equinox is gone. Equinox is taken out. It's 20 on the horizon for Tempo Storm as they take a second kill. Now Jason in danger. This will be the end. Tempo Storm taking out SpaceStation, all except Karazim. The quad kill as they chase down Jay Shrita and make it the Penta.
Clean game from Tempo Storm. You know, we saw this unique draft from SpaceStation, and Tempo is more than willing to dive into that style. If you were ever to say, hey, show me a game where a team literally controls the pace of a game from literally a minute and a half, 2 minutes in, Tempo just did that.
Yeah.
I mean, that was impressive.
Really, really cool ending to that game too. Having Som in the bottom, knowing that that would force Jason to stay there a little bit longer, and then being able to just rotate back in, win the team fight from there. Jason comes in, not even going to be able to help either. It felt like checkmate from every sense of that, and from a very early stage in that game from Tempo Storm, and the way that they played around the camps.
Yeah, the camp invades. I mean, we got that knockdown, drag-out fight in the first Siege camp,
Yeah.
But it was just like every moment from then on out, that set the tone for the way the game was going to go. They took that camp, they took the night camp, they took their boss. I mean, it was just like, they came in, they took whatever they wanted, but they had the composition to do that, even with an Abathur, and the Abathur, you know, build with the Carapace, getting that extra shielding, that extra healing at level 1 just allowed him to sustain in those fights a little bit longer, wait for teammates to come in. I mean, that was a fun game if you're a Tempo fan to watch. I mean, it might not be the most exciting to some people, but if you love the way the game is played, that was one heck of a display by Tempo.
Yeah, rotations on point, individual plays, very cool to watch too. The Abathur, the different Abathur clones, Fan using the clone at the end to stall at the tribute, and then using Caterpillar to stall at the end too to give them more time. We saw clones on Tracer too, Fan just being able to kind of flex. I just feel like this team is both literally and metaphorically flexing on their opponents. Just the way that they're playing in their drafts has been fantastic to see. Sometimes it doesn't always work out for them, right? There are some slip-ups, there are some games that teams take off of them, but it's so unpredictable in the drafting that it makes it really fun for us to get to watch and get to commentate. And it makes it difficult. It really throws it on their opponents in the heat of the moment to make sure that they're drafting appropriately to keep up with it.
Yeah, so far it seems like teams kind of adapt to it mid-game, mid-series, and then Tempo goes back to playing more of a standard with a little bit of a flair. It just seems like they can play any style of draft, and every time that they've gone into that heavy melee assassin, it seems like people just can't figure it out early enough, and they've been able to throw their opponents off. It's been a treat to watch this team so far, and they move their way up. They're still up near the top. I mean, obviously they dropped to Freedom, but they're still top team. Things are showing why they're up there.
And it puts the onus on Team 12 to make sure that they win their next series versus Heroes Hearth. And Heroes Hearth has been looking stronger and stronger every single series they play. So that's going to be a treat too. We're waiting on the line for June so that we can talk to him about that last series. Any other thoughts on Tempo Storm as we get ready or finish out seeing them for the weekend?
It's just, it's fun to watch this team. I mean, they've been at the top for a long time. They made the role swaps. And again, coming into this weekend, Fan and Som both had the highest hero pools in North America. And I think after this weekend, it's probably still going to be the highest hero pools despite only playing 7 games in their 2 series this weekend. I mean, it's just the flexibility of this team. I mean, you come into work and you're like, all right, you know, who do I got today? And you see Tempo Storm, you're like, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
I think that's what Tempo brings to this league right now.
Not only their flexibility, but their aggression that they have shown. They had the highest average kills per game of any team coming into this weekend in North America. It's more kills than, it's about the same kills as Team 12, but they also die less than Team 12, which puts them at the highest KD ratio for the team, or for all of the teams in North America. And you can see why, with the kind of aggression that this team has displayed. And there is one guy to keep them all alive. Let's check in with June and see how he's doing. Hey, June, congratulations.
Hello.
How are you and the team feeling
Thank you.
after these 2 wins this weekend?
Pretty good, pretty good. Our first game versus SSG wasn't as clean. I don't think we were full tournament mode.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't a 3-0 as we wanted, but pretty clean.
You guys have had a lot of dominance on Infernal Shrines until that game, losing it out to SpaceStation. Were you guys expecting the role swap to go back around where Casanova wouldn't be on tank, or were you guys expecting Casanova to still be on tank like he was earlier this weekend?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Sorry.
No worries.
I was in, yeah.
What have you guys been able to do? Because you guys used to ban Infernal Shrines, and now you guys look really, really good on it. You've been able to beat Freedom in Team 12 there. So what has changed for you guys? Is it bringing in the new members?
I think so. With Fan and Glau coming in and Kettle being on the main tank, I think our playstyle have changed quite a bit, where we are more what's the word? More active on the map.
Yeah.
Which in front of Shrines, if you're not active, if you don't rotate correctly, you get far behind. But with the new roster, we're able to do all those. So yeah.
Yeah, well, you guys have been a treat to watch. Your flexibility has been really fun. I love watching your Alex Straza, so thank you for that. I'll send you over to Jay Howe.
June, you said your team is more active on the battleground. They're also more active on the front line. You're taking care of multiple melee assassins.
Oh my gosh.
Talk to me about that, man. What's your role like now? I mean, we don't see this from any other team.
Actually, it's not too bad, but sometimes there are times where like 4 different people will call for me to watch them. For example, the Towers game, there was a fight at the bottom camp, and 3 different people asked me, "Hey, Jun, watch me. Hey, Jun, watch me. Hey, I need help. Hey, I need help. I need help." So I mean, it's fun. It's more fun, and yeah, I think I can handle it.
You think you can handle it? I think you've done more than enough to show that you can handle it. Congratulations, man. It's fun watching you guys, and it's fun watching you watch yourself last night on stream as well.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I still remember, by the way.
Oh.
We'll talk about it later. Back to Gilly.
All right, June, before I let you go, you guys will next face LFM Esports next weekend. What are you thinking about that match?
Oh, which match?
You play LFM next weekend.
Oh.
Yeah.
I honestly, that team, I was surprised of how well they played than expected. Like no flame, but I thought they would play worse than they did, but they really showed up. So we're not gonna underestimate them and play our best.
Well, good luck to you in that match. Congratulations again on a successful weekend. And if you want to give any shout-outs, now's the time.
Oh yeah. Of course, shout out to my team. Although we kind of potatoed the first game, we are able to reset our minds and get them in. And of course, thank you Tempo and our sponsors, Red Bull, Twitch, Nvidia, Playing, Secret Labs, Flix Gray, and Skytech Gaming. Right. Also, let June play Ana.
Bye. Thanks, June. There you go. Hashtag let June play Ana. Let's get it going.
Banana.
Yes, we're going to go to a commercial break because I have no idea what that means. But don't go anywhere because Team 12 and Heroes Hearth are about to bring the battle. This is the HGC. Catching June in the back line. Water Elementals now come out with the Cleansing Flame. The Dragon's Arrow is huge. The Sulphurous Smash to follow up too as Caterpillar and the rest of Tempo Storm steps forward, taking out Greymane.
That combo
Glaurung's already going back. SpaceStation knows it though. They know it, they're going for the engage. They've got June underneath in the cocoon. But the fan and the combustion's enough to push away SpaceStation. Dragon's Arrow hits a lot of SpaceStation. The slow is too much for Jay Shrita as the Archon damage confirms the kill.
Everything that Psalm had probability.
Yeah, that it is. SpaceStation's getting onto the keep now. We'll see where Ragnaros wants the Molten Core from. It looks like from the mid, and that's where they're going to bait down the Punisher to. 20 here for Tempo Storm's fan, using that Twilight Archon that he is known for. With Molten Core doing more to do damage to the heroes, showing that Tempo Storm feel like they can confidently deal with the Punisher, and they need to get more done on the heroes so they don't lose the game here. Caterpillar takes a monstrous amount of damage from Jay Shrita and the Punisher. Fan is all but dead. He falls. SpaceStation have been in the director's chair for this entire game, and they're looking to end it.
Has his hands full here.
It's been spotted. No holy ground, but it's even just the threat of Tempo Storm with 16. There's another beautiful cocoon on the Tyrael. As the rest of the team tries to deal with Tempo Storm, they almost got Psalm, but there's a Twilight Dream from behind that. Sulfurous Smash hits two, ripping through the health bars of SpaceStation. Fan goes in, gets that giant Scorcher value. Rhaegar goes down. 2 kills for Tempo Storm.
2 kills on. Speaking of responding, SpaceStation tired of having all these camps pushing down. They're looking for a fight, but we got a mosh pit.
A mosh pit, a Tormented Souls too, and that mosh pit is not letting anyone else leave the death pit of this Sapper camp. Casanova has gone down, as has the Falstad. Equinox will be the next, and 3 kills for Tempo, and regrouped as Hanzo comes in.
Equinox going in, he's trying to get the healing static value, but he is getting shredded on the backside. Tahaka is down and low. They're gonna try and confirm the kill as D-Shield is out on the Greymane, going in, trying to get it, but the palm saves it.
A double Greymane team deals with the clone. Now the rest of the team hoping they can get a kill on Fan here in the backline with the Stormbolt, nearly getting it, but SpaceStation are falling quite low in health. They lose their Greymane, they lose their Falstad. Tempo Storm starting the rampage.
They're starting the rampage. What it does do is that they can come in with the flank, knowing that Tempo is here. Jason gets blown up instantly, though.
They wanted to flank with Jason on the other side, but Tempo Storm caught them out first. 2-man mosh pit, catches a couple, and a drag pulls in Casanova for the third. A Tormented Souls in the back claims the life of Greymane. With the back line down to SpaceStation, this does not look good for them.
Doesn't look good. Palm on the Psalm. Equinox is going to try and confirm it. The hammer just misses.
Can solo take camps as Equinox in the Immolation. Seeing that, Psalm's still going to go in from this. Glaurung and Caterpillar are here too. Equinox is taking a bunch of damage. Psalm does too. Drops the Pulse Bomb, but Tracer goes down, making it a 1-for-1. Now SpaceStation starting to come back in. They might have been able to hold on long enough. They boot back Cattle and Glaurung.
I think they bit off more than they can chew. Things look good to start that. Cattle is so low, but they got to be careful.
Yeah,
that is Tyrael.
The bomb from Tyrael.
Yeah.
Jason, he's dead.
That was
crazy.
Just given that they're going against Tracer. Equinox on the backside. That's Fan on the clone, a Tracer player himself, so very adept at getting full value out of that clone.
What the 7-sided strike tells me.
Oh!
Oh, wow. There it is. The 7-sided strike goes down. Root, as soon as he came out of that with the Pulse Bomb 2, Sound Barrier is just not enough as Karazim falls.
But now you don't have to pull one of those giants in.
Well done. Cattle walks in, had the Eldraine behind. 7-sided strike does a number to Glaurung. Sound Barrier, though, and Sanctification lets Glaurung get back in the fight. Equinox is gone. Equinox is taken out. 20 on the horizon for Tempo Storm as they take a second kill. Now Jason in danger. This will be the end. Tempo Storm taking out SpaceStation, all except Karazim. The quad kill as they chase down Jay Shrita and make it the Penta.
Clean game from Tempo Storm. You know, we saw this unique draft